Hello guys and welcome to the Division 1 Season 3 Race 2 here at Zandvoort. In the rain today. We're on board with Taflovich right now, who is on his qualifying lap. But the race here today is, race 2. Everyone getting into the swing of things, but it's in the rain. Very flowy track, not very conducive to the rain. To see how this goes. A lot of fast drivers here on the track today. Very excited for today's race. But I'm joined here today by Josh and Mike. We're in the booth and they're going to be, Josh is in the picture-in-picture on your right there. And Mike is going to be telling us off the stats today. Would you fellas like to introduce yourselves?
Oh, of course. It's a pleasure coming back into the booth after last week. We saw a great race at Zolder. A lot of interesting action, a lot of brave overtaking, and honestly, great display of skill from Division 1. And yeah, we'll see what they can make of this flat, wet track over here in the Netherlands.
And Mike, this is your first stream here. How you feeling, buddy?
Oh, hey guys, how's it going? Feeling all right, doing good. Thank you for having me. It's should be a great race, Zandvoort in the wet. So let's have a great time tonight.
All right. So, Zandvoort, Mike, what can you tell us about it?
So Zandvoort is a very historic track. It is actually a pre-war track from 1930s. But tonight the layout we have is the pre-renovation in 2020's layout. It's a 4.3 kilometer track or 2.7 miles. A lot of twists and turns. Very, very quick track, very narrow track. It should be interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely. It's a narrow track, not a whole lot of passing opportunities. As we can see here as we're following Dave Taflovich around, very flowy, lots of camber in the turns. And there's not a whole lot of leeway if you slide off. As you can see, through a lot of the track, the barriers are very close. And a little slide off, a little tap into the wall, and that could be the end of your day. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out with all the different drivers. I know there's a lot of people trying to make a big splash here in the rain.
Good one.
Yeah. Yeah, it could definitely change a lot of drivers' plans. Hopefully we don't see too much carnage, as if anyone who plays racing games, or especially ACC, they know how bad the spray can get when you're behind another car. It is near impossible to see. Being in the wake of someone else can really screw up your lap. You're not sure where the braking points are. You can't see around them at all. It makes it way more difficult than, and the slick track already provides a challenge. It's just makes it that much harder. But only 15 minutes left of the qualifying. You're going to be seeing a lot of these Pro-Am drivers heading in and finishing up their laps. Let's take a look at who we got for the lead here so far. So for the Pro-Ams of the people who are out right now, we have Daehee Yun just put it up, and he's pulling off in the grass now with a 1:44.7. That is the fastest lap so far. Vicini with a 1:45.0. Josh Arnold, a very fast driver, 1:45.3. Dave Taflovich with a 1:45.4, and Sutherland with a 1:45.6. That's the top 5 for our Pro-Am drivers. A lot of fast drivers in here as well. Just because they're one division down, don't count out any of these people here. We know that all these people have a lot of pace, especially Daehee Yun and Josh Arnold are the two drivers that we're going to want to be looking out for today. In fact, Josh is just finishing up a lap here, and he's going to improve just the slightest amount, I think, but it doesn't bump him up any positions. Now has a 1:45.2. But Josh Arnold is one of those drivers that we know can hang with the big boys, hang with the pros who are out. We're going to hop on with Anderson here, who is also finishing up a lap. Remember that if you were out after the 15-minute, you can finish up your last lap. And it looks like he is going to
Anderson's
improve.
actually the last Pro-Am out there.
Yep.
No one else made it.
He's not going to improve by much, and it won't bump him any position. So he's in 9th for right now.
Takes the adventurous route off the track.
Looking at the time he's
But
here.
noticing across the stats, it seems a lot of the drivers elected for going out with a considerable amount of fuel and staying out the entire time. Everyone posting close to 8 laps, 9 laps out on the track. And I wonder if that's going to be the strategy, trying to keep the tires warm somehow. Because they get very cold out there in the wet if you're not pushing consistently, or if you're leaving the racing line and getting into those puddles. It cools them off a lot.
Now that's the key with a lot of wet races. Just keep the tires in that optimal window and make sure you're keeping it on track and keeping it consistent. Just like Doug was saying in his coaching session before, keep it consistent, and that's their key to success in the wet.
So we're falling on board with Suniga right now, as he is crossing the line for his first qualifying lap. Does anyone want to do an onboard of someone going around and giving our viewers a little bit of a turn-by-turn?
I don't mind doing one if you can hop onto somebody.
So who is someone that might be coming around right now?
Fortunately, you have the better view at the track map at the moment.
Yeah, hold up. I'm trying here. Number 4 is going to be coming around here. So that's Hannigan, who's 35 right now.
Chris Hannigan, somewhat known as PBJ around the league, a returning driver in a familiar car, the Aston Martin. Heading down the straight towards turn 1, a tight hairpin, heavy braking here. Trying to stay as tight as you can, keep the back end from sliding out on you as you get back onto the power. Don't go too wide, it's all sand. Stay left into a quick right, back into another hairpin left. For those that know the new layout, there's significantly more banking here, and I only wonder how that would be in the wet. Into what hopes to be a flat out section if you've got warm enough tires and the right traction. Sweeping left, sweeping right. A little touch of the brakes into a treacherous downhill right-hander that catches a lot of people out, especially if you touch too much of this curb, or too much of that curb, or too much of this grass. Quick flick right, and it's on edge. Little touch of the brakes, slight right-hander. Slowly creep back onto the power, but not too much. Right back onto the brakes for another left. Into your last rail straightaway of the lap. Try to make the most of it. Use all the track you can. Probably one of the hardest braking zones. Heavy braking to a quick right-hander here. Into a very awkward left hairpin. All those sausage curves on the inside do not do you favors. Slowly back onto the power. Another section that looks different on the brakes, right-hander. A lot more banking here in the revamp. That would be scary. Try to stay flat out. Gotta get yourself down into that apex. Keep the power down and charge back to the start-finish line. You've done a lap of Zandvoort in the wet, and you didn't have to fight the car.
Oh, thank you, Josh. That was a beautiful walkthrough and a pretty good lap from PBJ there. It got a little squirrely on in that middle section there. That middle section, not a whole lot of hard braking points, and can be a little bit squirrely. You're on the edge of your car, going left, right, left again. It's definitely the biggest point that on this track where I struggle. So
finding the balance in the wet is a very, very hard thing to do. It takes a lot of practice time. I know every time I think I've got it, I get back in the car and it's like going back to square one again. Different amount of water, different bit of dry line's been produced, slightly more of a puddle somewhere.
there's been a very
It's
nice
fun.
variation in practice, and especially with the practice races, like you were saying last night, Josh. Which congratulations on the win, by the way. So you would be the kind of the guy to know what's going on here at this track.
I guess you could say it's like you put at the beginning, consistency, consistency, and trying not to do anything fancy. You've got to find a line that works and a pace that you can keep and just hold it. People are going to make mistakes, or you can pressure people into mistakes, maybe get lucky enough to go for an overtake, but you've got to let the race come to you in a situation like this. Can't be too aggressive.
Yeah, so looking back at some of the timings here, Matt Lehman, here, actually, I'll go here. Matt Lehman has put it up with the fastest at a 1:44.1 right now. And actually, Fimbris Casas has actually just put it up above him, and Tyler James just put it up above him. Wow, crazy. As we're looking at it, Tyler James is in first right now with a 1:43.9. Casas in second with a 1:43.9 as well, and Matt Lehman with a 1:44.1. I definitely expect to see a little bit more out of Matt Lehman. He's a very fast driver, our resident alien around here. And so I don't doubt that he's going to work himself up the pole a little bit more. But a great lap from Tyler James. Definitely very hard to control, and hard to control in the wet with this McLaren. Very squirrely little car. The back end likes to walk around on you. So no mean feat getting up there.
None at all. And currently got an eye on his teammate Doug Mitchell in the pit there. Down a little bit on his lap time, currently in P19 with a 45.4. I'm sure Tyler's hoping he can emulate a little bit of that lap time he's found and bring himself off the board a little.
There's going to be some very tight racing tonight. 2,000th of a second of a difference here. There's barely any difference between 1, 2. It is insane. Tonight is going to be super tight. Really exciting racing tonight for the SRA viewers.
So before we go and try and pull a driver up and talk to him, anyone who might be familiar with why I'm not seeing the timings on the left-hand side, be able to help me out so we can get that for our viewers. I didn't
Give a
notice that
try
before.
flipping through the heads-up display options on race control.
Yeah, flip through them. No cigar.
Interesting. Cigar. I am not familiar.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Sorry about that, folks. I wish I could get that, but
I believe that's the in-game overlay that has that information. Don't know why this.
So
while we're getting the technical issues figured out, let's go to the YouTube chat right now. We see a bunch of guys: Evan Kim, Jacob Wolfman. We see Paul and Jess, and my teammate Durban Legacy, rookie drivers for life. Let's rock and roll.
all right, let's see if I can go in here. Any predictions in the chat for who's gonna win, who's gonna spin out, anything like that? Any predictions from you guys as to who's gonna win? Looking at from the practice server and looking at the times right now.
It's a tough call. A lot can happen, and who knows what kind of conditions we'll even have for the race. We could have significantly more water than this or less, and with that being said, and the varying practice server conditions, it's a real hard judge of where people's pace are in those different conditions. So if it stands the way it stands right now, I gotta keep my favorite of Matt Lehman. That he has car control like I have not seen. But if it goes dry, I think we're gonna see a Honda win this race. Or drier.
I think I'm putting my money on Mr. Casas. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. He's shown really consistent pace, and if he can keep this qualifying pace up or somewhere close to it, it should be pretty tight for Mr. Lehman and even Mr. James up there at the front as well.
Well, actually, Lehman has eclipsed everyone now and is in first with a 143.2, with Quigg right behind him at a 143.5, Nordstrom with a 143.6, Tyler James down in fourth now with a 143.6, and Duran at a 143.8. That's our top five. And a driver who we were looking at before, Daehee Yun, a very fast driver indeed. The fastest driver for the Pro-Am division has a 144.7 right now and is knocked down to 12. So you can see how fast these drivers are up here. Being able to put it above Daehee, who is just an awesome driver. So Matt Lehman, absolutely crazy time. In fact, we're going to watch him. He's bouncing back and forth between being up in his delta or not as he's coming through the first section. We'll see if he can improve even more. That would be interesting. But in the meantime, I think I'm going to try to hop down with Mike and talk to someone. So, do we want to hop down and talk to Peter and Matt? And
sounds good. We can definitely jump down there.
Okay.
But
Peter, Matt, you guys are on the stream right now. How are you guys feeling about today's race?
it's wet, it's slippy.
Very.
The track's pretty difficult, but especially in these conditions, so we will see. And if it dries up mid-race, that'll be an interesting for everyone to scramble to get their tire pressure set up. But we're looking to move forward and see where it ends up. Keeps it clean and move it forward.
Now, do you guys have any strategy going into the race for if it goes dry? Or are you guys kind of just flying blind right now?
So I have my dry setup hooked up, and then we're gonna just switch to dries and put 28.5s on if it dries up and if it's around 26 degrees, probably a good PSI to start at. But mainly the game plan is just keep your nose clean and let carnage in front of you move you forward, and just take it as it comes to you.
Kind of a war of attrition to say.
Yeah, it's a tough track to pass. Not a lot of opportunities, but if you just stay patient, you could probably push someone into a mistake fairly easily, as long as you can make sure you don't get collected by the mistake. So we'll see how it goes.
Are you looking forward to seeing all the tickets submitted that you guys are going to have to go through after this race?
No. Well, let's see how it goes. I mean, I think the stewarding team did an awesome job last week, and very happy to have them on board. And we'll be able to, I mean, we did like 25 tickets last week, which was a record.
Wow.
And it went pretty smoothly for our for the first week, so I just see it getting better from here.
All right.
Long night for you boys on the track and off the track.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Yep.
Thank you so much for
No
letting us bother you a little bit. Mike, if you wouldn't mind going up to the box again.
Sounds good. Good luck, gentlemen. Have a good race.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we just had our interview there. Great interview, great folks. Hopefully they have a good race. That was Peter Reynolds and Matt Shorts, who were just interviewing a second ago. Let me see if I can get.
It's gonna be good tonight. I'm going back to the chat here. We have some predictions finally rolling in. We have the #1 winner right now with Kyle McGinnis. The rain will win apparently, and we got Durban Legacy saying Tyler's gonna win. Kyle McGinnis again. Little Dirty says Nordstrom will win, and then I am just INB with the rain. So the rain.
Indeed. So we're actually on board with Warden right now, who has bumped himself up to 3rd place and is down on his split right now. But all the drivers are finishing up their final laps here and coming in back to the pits, getting ready for the race. Doesn't look like any driver who is out right now is up on their split. So everyone's just getting that last lap in before they head in. It looks like Warden is doing the same. All right, guys. Now we are gonna line up on the grid. The qualifying is set. We have Matt Lehman. Oh, here are the times, and there they go again. Matt Lehman in first, Jay Riley in second, Warden in third, Quigg in fourth, Nordstrom fourth, Tyler James fifth, and Casa seventh, Duran eighth, Hannigan or PBJ in ninth, and Patrick Rust in 10th. A lot of fast drivers up there. A lot of people who want to win. And Jay Riley and A. Warden, we believe, are new folks to our league here. It would be really awesome to see them get a win. After the qualifying is set, any more predictions? Any people that you want to keep an eye on for the rest of the race?
Warden kind of showed a lot of pace there.
Yeah.
And that AMG, like, that didn't look like one-off pace. That Mercedes, I was watching him for a little bit. That thing is planted here in the wet. It's not sliding around a whole lot. I think he might have a chance at sneaking his way up to the top here.
I think so too. Yeah, so let me see if I can try to get a bit of a flyby here. Maybe not. Yep. I don't. That was my bad. Okay.
That's okay.
Sorry about that, guys. I accidentally clicked on something on the Discord there. Luckily, you guys didn't miss too much. We're just lined up here on the start-finish line, waiting for the race to start. As I was saying, the grid is set now. Matt Lehman in first, Riley in second, Warden in third. We want to keep a close eye out for Warden. A new driver here, I believe, along with Riley, who we're hoping to see sneak up and maybe take a win from Matt Lehman, who is our resident alien and known for winning a race or two. We're very excited about this race. And hopefully all the drivers have clicked on the start button so they don't get teleported back to pits. You know how that is. Before the race starts, everyone's got to get their last pee break in, last drink of water, get their wheels set up, finally set their tire pressures for the first time, all that good stuff.
Get comfy and strap in. We're ready to go racing,
Yes,
ladies
sir.
and gentlemen.
And so we're watching the drivers start to head out now.
Oh, this is gonna be very, very interesting to see how this goes. And you can even see, looking at on the onboard there, if you can see in the P&P there, the amount of spray on the windshield is incredible. You really have to know the track to keep it on the track, but also go fast as heck around here.
We got Evan Kim and Douglas Mitchell right next to each other. That is definitely going to be an interesting little spat there. As you know, if you may have followed along with our last season, Douglas Mitchell stole a championship from Evan Kim, who was really hoping to get it before Douglas bribed some people to crash some other people out, and the way it worked out, he won his second championship. We'll see if Evan Kim exacts his revenge. Pit maneuvers him on the start.
That would be some sweet justice, but maybe Evan Kim looking like he's got his eyes for the top 10 up there. It's looking pretty tight in that group from 10 to 20.
Another driver I'm looking at right now is Josh Arnold. Very fast driver, down in 20th right now. Definitely not where he wants to be. He's looking to shoot himself into pro, or maybe win a championship for the Pro-Am, one of the two. But he's right next to Victor Diaz, two very fast people. We want to keep a close eye on that little group, see how they come out of the start.
And let's see, go to our pre-race interview guy, gentlemen. Matthew Schwartz down in 31st. Let's see what he's doing on his outlap here.
Matt Schwartz is bumping doors with other Porsches out there. With his teammate, yeah, Peter and Matt have qualified right next to each other. You can see with the pink and blue A and B livery there. Looking really good. One of the best liveries that we have. Of course, we have a lot of absolutely wonderful custom-made liveries here in the stream, but they always, put a good showing in for the custom livery and put a lot of work into it. As people are coming around onto the front straight here, let's see if we can catch this start. See if we can catch any action here.
Oh boy.
We're coming around.
Here we go.
And green light. Away we go for SRA.
There is no visibility.
Ooh, a lot of people changing positions here. Looks like everyone keeps it pretty clean through the start. I don't see any crashes, bumps, or wrecks too bad. Of course, it's so rainy outside, and everyone knows that first
we have
lap.
an off track.
Ooh, off track.
Just saw that in the background. Looked like a
Uh-oh.
blue Honda.
Blue Honda, and that's unfortunate. But otherwise, it looks to me like a lot of people have kept it really clean here through the start.
Yeah, this is
Just
some.
a
This is
testament to
pretty
the
cool.
skill of these Division 1 drivers here. Everybody's staying alive, going too wide to a lot of places.
Peter Reynolds, someone who we were looking at before, looks like he's had a bad shunt off, and his hood is up. Not looking good for him. He's fallen back to the back of the grid.
Oh, that's not a good time. First
Ooh,
lap.
a little bump. Is that, oh my gosh. It was one of the BBC boys. I think that was Matt Morrison who just got shunted off the track there. Rest in peace.
A lot of action taking place right now on the track. Now it looks
Oh,
like
and
up at
another
the-
shunt. Was that Arnold who just got pushed around? I think it was. Yeah, Arnold and Taflovich throwing the yellow flag here as they try to rejoin. Hopefully they can rejoin safely, and it looks like they do. Hey, maybe not such a big loss for Josh because now he's next to his teammate. They can push each other for the win. I know Josh, he's going to have himself way up there by the end of the race. You watch. Someone that we're definitely going to want to keep a close eye on. Evan Kim has passed Daehee Yun and Sam Saniga. Looks like Daehee's not having a super great start here, but he's maintaining his position.
Very long race. Very, very long race. Everyone's just kind of got to settle in and find where they're comfortable right now, and maybe to see if they can take some risks later on down the line.
And a battle that we're watching here on both screens is the Riley and Lehman fight. Only 0.6 second gap between the two. Looks like our new driver Riley has come out ahead of Lehman, and Lehman is mad. He's driving like he wants to overtake here. That's another person that we're really going to have to keep a close eye on, because it'd be very interesting if we can see someone beat the beast of Lehman.
There's been a bit of a change up in the field here with even with 1 and 2, but now we even have Quig coming up out of nowhere for taking P3 in the Porsche, overtaking Warden, and Tyler James finding his way back up to P5.
I'm on board with this little fight here of Nordstrom, Duran, and PBJ. They're all very close to each other, but then less than a second, and I can't even imagine how PBJ is even seeing anything. We're gonna look at the interior cam and look at all that spray. you can hardly see in front of you. Crazy. As they're darting back and forth on the straight. Looks like PBJ's got the run out. I'm going to watch him into the first corner here. Looks like Duran tries to take the inside line, but it doesn't work for him. PBJ is able to stick it around the outside and pass him. But it looks like they've their gap has expanded a little bit on the driver in front of them, Travis Nordstrom. So they're going to have to work up that again. Someone who's very close, side by side, Warden and Quig. Down the twisty windies here, and oh no! Oh no! We have Quig off the track. Oh no. Let's see if I can try to catch him so we can do a replay here. I don't know if I'm going to catch it. Side by side there. Boom, just a little bump off, and he's in the wall. That's not good for Quig. Someone who we were really hoping would have a really good position here. It looks like he joins nice and safe. But that's very unfortunate for him. That knocked him all the way down to 12th place, but he's in good company back here with Patrick Rust, and so we'll see how he can work himself up. He's about a second off of that.
That's just a testament to how skittish these conditions can be. A small error can turn into a big error very quickly.
Yeah.
And with everyone pushing for that consistent pace, and as we can see, right on each other's tail, a little bit of a conga line going on, you tend to lose a lot more positions than just one or two.
Looks like there's a nice train behind him too. All these drivers here. Oh my, look at this train. It is very long.
Now it looks like everyone's found their settling. Oh, and a McLaren off track.
Uh-oh. I don't see any of the yellow flags, so I can't catch him. I'm going to hop on with Casas here in the Honda, right on the tail of Tyler James. He might be close enough to read the back of Tyler's car. It says, think again, pass equals ban. Tyler James, our head admin and owner of the server here, has put that on the back of his car to remind people that if you pass him, he's the real winner in every race, because he's the admin and can ban you at any second for beating him. So they're looking, Douglas Mitchell and Tyler James, teammates, are looking for their third Drivers' Championship and Team Championship. They've won both of the previous Division 1 seasons. Definitely rigged. But he's trying to put that on his car to help lock down this season.
Back-to-back champions. Those guys have some big targets on their backs, and guys like Riley, Lehman, Warden, those are guys that are knocking on the door and wanna make a name for themselves here in SRA, and they're gonna take down the big dogs to do it.
And this is a great showing for Tyler here today. He's built, the cars ahead have built a little bit of a gap, but he's still pretty close. And fourth position for Tyler, especially with all these aliens in here, definitely really good. You know, if he gets a couple of position fours, he can definitely work together a team championship or a driver's championship if they both stay consistent throughout the season. But Casas is right on his tail, challenging him to that. Challenging his sticker on the back. 0.5 seconds off. A little train there with Travis Nordstrom not too far behind.
They're knocking on the back door right now. They're like, let us through, let us through.
So
and Tyler James making that McLaren super wide and keeping it super clean.
Mike, while you watch what's on the main screen, Josh, what do you have for us in the picture-in-picture?
Well, I'm keeping my eye on Mr. Majid over here. Was recently overtaken by Vicini, one of the, actually the highest ranking Pro-Am driver at this point in time. Still holding on to a top 15 position in the number 66 Ferrari. All as a group chasing down the matching Porsches of Quig and Rust just ahead of them.
Now during that we had Lehman and Riley going at it. Lehman actually just passed Riley.
Oh man, Sorry, I missed that. That is true. Lehman has just passed him, only a 0.5 second gap behind. He can definitely make that up. But once Lehman gets that clean air in front of him, and there's no telling, he could just completely walk away with this. And we've seen in the past where he's shamed a lot of the other drivers here by beating them by tens of seconds over the course of the race, which is, a lot of people are not happy about that. Lehman equals ban, I say. No one can win with
As
him in
Vestini
here.
bounces himself off the track,
Oh,
unfortunately.
no.
Caught a little bit too much of the curb at the exit of the last corner. And it looks like Majid will get that position after all.
Oh, and Tyler James is off as well.
Oh, no. I'm going to see if I can
Taking
catch him.
Finber's Cassis with him.
Oh, man. Maybe I can get a replay? Who knows? Oh, yes, I just caught the end of it. It looks like Cassis just caught the back of him, spun them both around. Looks like Finber's probably got the worst of that by touching his bumper into the wall, but Tyler looks like has a bit of a iffy rejoin there in front of some of the other cars. We're going to have to see that later on down the line, see what the stewards have to say about that. But there's not much you can do in a situation like that. You kind of need to get back on track. But very unfortunate for him. Tyler, who was running in 4th place, is now in 9th, with Hannigan taking his place in 4th. Duran not too far behind, and Nordstrom not too far behind him. So I'm going to hop on board with Duran, who only has a 0.3 second gap to PBJ.
Now it's oh, I'm on. Apologize.
So you can see just how wet the track is and how bad the spray still is. You can also see a little bit of a dry line being established here as the cars drive over the same spot and kind of push the water off to the side of the track. This dry line creates a little bit more of a grippy spot, but it also kind of makes it a little bit more unpredictable, because if you come off of that grippy spot, you may be in big trouble. As we see Duran pass PBJ in a crazy move through T1, keeps it together through this first little twisty windies here, and rockets onto the big straightaway here, or not so straight straightaway. Oh no, and Hannigan is off the track. Let's see what happened with him. So he's putting along, and he just clips the curb wrong and spins him around. PBJ, who is an amazing driver, one of the fastest here in the league. You know, even mistakes can happen there. Just one little touch of that curb sends him back down from 4th to 7th. Nordstrom taking his place in 5th there.
Maybe in the drive, a little bit of contact here and there will fly, but nah, you can't do that kind of stuff in the wet. You lose it too easy.
I'm going to take a look at this massive train that's going on here. PBJ, Durant, Tyler James, Booker Quigg, Patrick Rust, Majid, Casas, and are all in a big little group here. All of them less than a second from each other.
7 of them in this little group here, all fighting for that 7th place spot.
Honestly, by this point, I expected to see a little bit more of pacing out of some of the drivers, but everyone seems to be very close all the way up and down the track. Huge packs of cars running together, which is, like we've been saying all at the beginning of this race, the spray here is absolutely atrocious. So running in these packs is not easy whatsoever. All that rain being kicked up by the other cars, so hard to see. And just slightly late on the braking, and your tires start to slide, and there's not much you can do. So definitely high risk here. We'll see if there's any movement because of it. In fact, speaking of movement, Matt Schwartz was just eclipsed by Sutherland. Matt Schwartz was someone who we were listening into on the pre-race interviews. Unfortunately, he's fallen back to 35th position. I think he can make some of that back up. The Porsche is definitely a very hard car to drive around here, and just a hard car to drive in general.
Definitely, I'm not a fan of that car. I will say that outright. It's not for everyone, but those who can get it can find pace that I have not seen before.
Hopping back on board with Booker Quigg here, taking a look at this massive train. In fact, I'm actually going to hop up with Durance, who is very close to the driver in front of him, which is PJ, only 0.3 seconds off. Ooh, as he touches the grass a little bit there, it's going to kind of destroy any chance of being able to overtake. Tyler James is coming up on his bumper right there too, capitalizing on that little bit of mistake there.
Yeah, it looks like somebody just. Oh, I thought somebody lost it up front. Never mind then. Yeah, I'm sorry. Getting back to what I was saying before, it's these guys look like they're trying to push each one of each other into a mistake here. That's why it seems like they're running these massive packs.
But all you really can do in this wet weather, you step offline and try and make too aggressive of a braking maneuver, and you may not make it through the corner, even if you brake 50 meters early. All that water.
So you just gotta hope, I guess. That's the motivation. Hope and pray, and yep, it'll stick.
To your consistent
Oh
line.
man, looking at the wing cam of Tyler James. Oh no, and he gets spun around. Oh, and hit again.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna check the replay of this. It looks like either Patrick Rust or Quigg. Just, ooh, so close. I don't know if he
Little
realizes
tap.
he's inside, and just a little tap and sends him around right into the other Porsche. And I wish I could catch a little bit more of that. Fortunately, I wasn't able to. But looks like a good little pileup was caused there. Looks
We've
like
lost Rust. Oh, there's a big
Rust
pileup
is
in the track
big pileup. Rust
with
is
Majid. Oh dear.
oh no. Decent little bit of damage on that Porsche, and quite a few people up and down positions because of that. We're going to take a look at Dahey, who's almost side by side with Tyler James, who got knocked back in that whole collision, now in 17th. From 4th to 17th. Very unfortunate for Tyler James. But he's once again in good company. 0.3 seconds back is Dahey, the previous... he was no, it was Josh Arnold, but still... one of the extraordinarily fast drivers from the amateurs last season, up here in the Pro-Am, challenging the pros. It looks like Tyler James has a decent little bit of damage on the front of his car there, unfortunately. When his hood is up a little bit, as we can see. Definitely not a good sign.
That is definitely not going to help him in these conditions.
It's already hard enough to drive the car, and how wet it is. Add a little bit of damage to that, a little bit of unpredictability, a little extra tire wear, and that could spell disaster for someone's race. Even though it may not seem like a whole lot of damage, may seem like a little tap, something like that could lead to something that ends your race. So we're going to want to keep a close eye on Tyler James here. I'm hoping for the best for him. Hopefully he can get back into pits, maybe repair that, work himself through the field a little bit.
At least get some solid points. That's what he's got to probably salvage from this race. Think about the championship. Think about the team. And that's what this kind of race has turned into.
I'm hopping back up with Jay Riley and Matt Lehman. Matt, who was just 0.1 seconds off of Riley a second ago, now 0.4 seconds off. Very close as they go down the high-speed section of the track here. Matt Lehman falling back a little bit more to 0.5 seconds. Maybe giving them just a little bit of space for the braking points, making sure they don't wreck each other's race. Both of these drivers are blisteringly fast. Trading positions, this might be the driver that we've been hoping for to give Matt Lehman a challenge. We were talking last race in the post-race interviews with Matt, saying we need someone in here to kind of shake up the driving for you, make you sweat a little bit. I think this is the person to do it.
Definitely.
It's nice to see that someone else can do it. For a while, a lot of us looked up at the very, very top of the timetable leaderboards all the way up there and thought, how the heck can anybody go that fast? And everyone started creeping a little bit closer, and
Oh,
now we have Mr. Riley.
what just happened in your
As
on your screen there, Josh?
Yeah, we
Ooh.
just saw, unfortunately, that was Colin Shea in the McLaren. He had a yellow flag not that long ago. That's why I hopped on board, and looks like he just caught too much curb and little snap oversteer towards the wall.
Did he go straight back to pits, or is he going to continue?
Yeah.
Back to pits.
Yeah, it seems that he elected to return to the pits there. And we also have Justin Burridge, who's elected to go back to the pits. I did not see what happened to him. He was running in relatively clean air for a little while. Strong driver who got promoted after winning the AM Championship in the very first season of SRA. Has not had the best of luck. Now he's coming back out. Look at that. Must have just been some repairs because we're still 5 minutes away from the pit window.
That's good for Mr. Justin. I always hope to see him be able to put it up there. I know that he's pretty fast and has the potential to do something, but just nothing has really worked out for him yet. We were hoping with this new Pro-Am series, he might be able to make a little bit of a splash.
Riley's off. Riley's off.
Oh, no, I missed that. Looking at the pip, Riley is off. Let's see if I can catch the replay of this, see what happened. Oh, he just catches some grass, catches some curb, and the grass is so slick around here that mid-engine car rather just spins right around. Looks like he's not too happy with that either. Taking a little break in the dirt there. This sends him all the way back to third, almost guaranteeing a pretty clean race for Lehman up at the front.
Yeah, touching the grass in any form, especially when it's wet, is not forgiving in these cars. Can confirm as somebody who's unintentionally tried to do it, braking on the grass is not effective at all, and you might as well just keep your foot to the ground. So I can totally understand why that snap happened, and very unfortunate, but he's still in the fight. Mr. Riley's only 5 seconds back from Warden, who's only 5 seconds back from Lehman, and got 38 minutes left.
Well, with the pace that we've seen from Riley, it looks like he didn't pick up any damage there. He could definitely work himself back up. We're just going to have to see. A good pit stop, maybe a bad pit stop for Lehman, or any sort of penalty will rocket him right back up.
Oh, there's a spicy little battle going on here for 10th place between Vicini, the boss, Doug, and Fimbres Casas. It's looking pretty good back here.
Gonna hop on board with Fimbres Casas here. And look at this little fight. Little 3-car train. Fimbres Casas knocking on the door of Douglas Mitchell. He knocked on the door of his teammate before and spun him around. So we're gonna see how this goes. Maybe a little bit of team orders from Tyler telling him to take him out. Who knows? Fimbres Casas is another very fast driver who is new to the league here. Very excited to see that. Last week he made an absolutely great first showing. Hopefully he can put together another good showing here even after his little incident. 12th place, not too bad. After maybe another one of those good pit stops, maybe he can work himself back up.
We've seen the timing of the pit stop be one of the most crucial things in terms of gaining position
And actually,
in previous SRA races. And if the practice race is anything to behold, it seems that those that pit early seem to find themselves a bit of an advantage on the track.
and sorry to interrupt you, but Fimbres Casas has actually just passed Douglas Mitchell. So.
Oh, that is okay. We need to inform everyone that Doug has been kicked down a little bit. Broadcast it.
Looking at the sticker on the back of Mr. Mitchell's car, not looking good for Fimbres Casas here, who's shortly going to get the ban hammer permanently banished from the Discord and all SRA operations.
currently watching one of our admins test their luck with their teammate Tyler James down in the picture-in-picture. Dahey's been on the back of that other McLaren for a few laps now. Went for it at turn 1, couldn't hold it together, but Tyler's struggling with that damage. See how he holds out for the rest of the race.
Oh, he's a little slippery out of those corners there. It looks like Dahey's gonna be right on him until the pit window opens.
Hopped on board with Mr. Quigg, chasing down Durrance. Had a little bit of a squirrely moment there, able to collect the car. He had a very close gap, but unfortunately he just lost that time. He's going to have to work himself back up.
Plenty of time to do that, and even he can probably get a couple spots in the pits if he times it correctly. We got about 5 minutes to go until that window opens. Oh, and it looks like
Just hopping on board with Lotufo, who we're catching the replay. He lost it in the downhill right-hander there. Just a little oversteer and a slight example of stepping off that dry racing line into the wet and the imbalance it can create in the car.
And in that area, not only is it not a dry racing line, there's also marbles. If you get out of line on that corner, and it's the double trouble. It sends you right off the track. Pit window is now open, and we have a 10-minute pit window. No tires required, but you do have to take at least 1 liter of fuel. We heard from Matt Schwartz and Peter Reynolds that they may switch tires to change their pressures if they feel that they need to. Looks like we got a yellow flag from Kajtejevic, who's going into the pits here. We see a lot of drivers going into the pits.
Early. We got Tyler James, Sutherland, Carter, Jeffries, Kursovic, Morrison, Latufo, Funk, Moffitt, Allen. Everyone's coming in first off.
It'll be interesting to see where everybody shakes out. I didn't even see the forecast for the rest of the race. Did anybody else?
It looks like it's going to stay about the same. Track temperature is 26 degrees, and the outside temperature is 21 degrees. So a little bit of a cold track. Not too bad. But still, the rain hasn't been too crazy. I've seen it way worse before, standing water in the corners and such, making it almost impossible. But this is decent racing weather. It's about as good as you can expect for the rain. So we see one of the BBC boys hopping out of the pit lane and kind of interrupting this battle between Durrance and Quigg.
Yeah, and I can't tell if that's for position. They're not not popping up on my timing board.
Yeah.
Looks like we have in that train there should be Hannigan, Durrance, and Quigg.
So that's Matt Morrison.
That's the ticket. Fortunately down in P36 at the moment. Not completely in no man's land. 7 seconds back from the car in front of him.
Hopping on board.
Trevor's been around for a little bit. Got some good pace to him, and see what he can do with the rest of this race.
Hopping on board with the other BBC here. Evan Kim, who's in 12th place, with Sam Suniga close behind him.
Suniga wants that position. He's knocking on the door for it. Can see if Evan Kim can make that BBC wide.
Ooh, Suniga getting really close, only 0.2 seconds off. We know that Audi's a rocket on these little straightaways here. Is he almost touching bumpers with him? I'm gonna hop on the bumper cam of Suniga. Takes it a little bit wide through these last little bit of corners here. Struggling to keep the traction. Touches the grass a little bit, but keeps it together for the straight. He's lost a good little bit of time here. Now he's 0.7 seconds back, so hopefully he can make that up. As we see some drivers join onto the track here from their pit stops, it looks like Dom Duran has made this battle a little bit harder for Mr. Siniga, knocking right on the door of him. Now he's got to defend. This is for position here.
Oh, and he just made Siniga's day a lot harder, that's for sure. He does not want to see that in the rearview mirror.
Both Dom Duran and Sam Siniga have absolutely blistering pace, and they always keep times very close to each other, so we're definitely in a battle I want to stay on board with for a little bit here. Dom gets a little bit squirrely, looking left, looking right, seeing where he can pass, falls back just a little bit. He's also got Grant Kinsling right on his back door as well. Attack, defend, attack, defend. Very crazy.
A nice little four-way train coming up here.
All these drivers within a second of each other. Oh, it looks like Sam spins out a little bit. Duran gets by him, holds up Cleansing just a little bit.
It's okay, doing a little bit of damage control. Oh, Vicini is coming out of the pits. I thought it was coming off. That's my bad.
He's coming in.
There's a nice little battle for 19th between Sanchez, Sutherland, and Durant. These guys are fighting close, fighting tight.
Hopping on board with Sanchez, taking a look at that battle that he has called out. Sanchez, who was in the BMW last year and is a very aggressive, fast driver. It's in the Audi this year. Haven't seen quite the performance that I saw from him last year with the BMW, but he's definitely getting a hang of it. As you can see here in the rain, he's got some great car control. So this is a driver that we want to keep an eye out for where he's going to end up. But it does look like he's got a little bit of front bumper damage there, which definitely doesn't help.
Oh, I've taken that Audi for a spin. It needs all the aero it can get. That's for sure.
As Matt Lehman elects to come into the pits.
Oh.
Warden stays out. Riley stays out. Nordstrom stays out.
Is this the move? Just the leader and
clean and quick, in and out.
Oh, and it looks like, is that Durant's behind? Has a little bit of a squirrely moment, falls back. Yes, that is Durant's behind. Increases that gap a little bit. Not a great place to have a squirrely moment right before the straightaway. Looks like he's actually able to keep it together and put it back up with these guys. Very impressive. Looks like we have a yellow flag from Daihi, who's going into the pits. On board with Duran, who is looking at the BBC's back door. 0.2 seconds behind.
Knock knock, Mr. Kim. Are you home?
Here for my rent.
That appears to be one of the closest gaps besides back here with people coming in and out of pits.
It's like it's kind of calmed down a little bit here with the pit window. I'm sure that'll change real quick.
Only 2 minutes left. All the people who have stayed out are looking at their opportunity to come in.
Riley jumps into the pits, followed by Nordstrom.
And there they are, getting into the pits. Gonna hop back in with.
The same.
Human retakes the lead. But how does that gap sit?
See you in a second.
Looks like
About 6 seconds.
Evan Kim going into the pits now. Now Duran has some clean air in front of him. He's feeling really good. 4th place right now. Oh no. Warden with a stop and go 30.
Oh no.
Oh,
Not sure how that happened. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch it. I assume speeding out of pit lane or into pit lane. Very unfortunate for him. Running extremely well. 2nd place. Something we're definitely going to have to check in on in just a minute after he gets his stop and go done. See where he ends up at.
And that's that's such a heartbreak moment when something like that happens. It's one of the toughest parts of the race is coming back out and trying to keep your head down and driving for the rest of the race.
And this is definitely a pit entrance where it is on the straightaway and it's a little bit short and you got to kind of tuck in there real quick. I know during the practice race I made a little bit of a fool of myself and hit the pit barrier. So I can attest it is not the easiest pit lane to enter in on, especially in the rain. Maybe you have a normal pace that you go through and you hit the brakes and slide a little bit more than you were expecting and boom, that's your stop and go 30 right there. You can definitely see how that can happen. Very unfortunate for him. Looks like he's not going to elect to serve it now. We will see. We're going to check back in on him as we look at Grant Kinsling, who's right on the back of Victor Diaz. Victor Diaz is a good friend of mine. Running pretty well. 15th. Decent place for him. And the pit window is closed as well. So all the positions that are here now is how the race is set. No flip-flopping around because of the pits anymore. So I believe that was a great pit for him. I don't think he was nearly this far up here.
I think he was sitting somewhere down 20, 24, 25. So he's definitely made up some positions from the pit window. Oh, and looks
21st.
Looks like Quigg has finally overtaken Hannigan in their little battle, and Hannigan's fighting him back.
Hopping on board with PBJ right now, looking at that little fight.
That was a pretty tight battle. Quigg was right on his bumper up until the last second there. He poked himself out and he looked like he took him from the outside. Very nice job. Very nice move.
It looks like their gap has increased a good little bit. Looks like Quigg had some pace on him. Upped his gap to 1.1 seconds. So we're going to check back in on that. We're going to go back to Victor Diaz, who's now right behind Sam Saniga, with Grant Kinsling right behind him.
Oh, this is going to be a good one.
Another attack, defend. Every corner you got to be watching all your mirrors. Definitely a tough spot to be in for Victor. Victor
Never want to be the meat in the sandwich.
Victor was here for the first season of SRA, and he was extraordinarily fast. Took a break to go back to F1 for Season 2, and is returning for Season 3, hoping to make a big splash. His first race for the season wasn't so hot, so he's definitely looking to regain some of his honor here. Looking great in that number 19 Vodafone Chrome McLaren. Ticking cues from Colin Shea with the bright chrome. Blind all the other drivers on track. Maybe you'll win. Catches some curb there. Is able to control it. Really nice.
You gotta take all you can get. Every little advantage, even if it is the paint job.
I'm actually gonna hop back with Patrick Rust, who's right on the back of BBC Matt Morrison. 0.2 seconds gap. I saw them side by side a second ago. Patrick Rust very fast, almost catches the back of him there. We're going to actually hop on the bumper cam.
Oh wow, that's getting a little tight.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That BBC's making himself very wide, making Patrick Rust a little nervous there as that Porsche speed bites him a little bit there. Looking towards the inside, isn't able to send anything through.
That's some textbook defending there from Morrison. Really, really tight and clean. Sanchez is off. Sanchez is spun and is off.
Oh no. Sanchez, a driver who we were looking at a second ago. See if we can catch this replay. Ooh, he just catches the curb there and slides it. Ooh, that's brutal. Luckily he doesn't collect anyone or collect any more damage, but you can see the nose of that Audi is hurt.
Yeah, it looks like he's just got to nurse that thing back home and get what he can get.
29th place right now. Definitely not the worst you can do. So hopefully he's able to nurse the car home. 29th position with that amount of damage, I wouldn't be too upset about. We're actually
not at all.
Gonna hop up between Tyler James and M. Jeffries here, who looks like Jeffries just passed Tyler. Maybe Tyler was might be a little too far back now, unfortunately. Okay. But looks like maybe Tyler had some issues there. Only 0.5 seconds back. Maybe he can recapture this position.
Doug Mitchell and
yep,
Fimmers Cassis. Yeah, that's a nice one right there. Just overtook Doug.
I'm actually gonna try to replay this one. It looks like they were just side by side. He got the better exit out. Doug was looking at the inside, and he just gave him the position. He said, "I don't want to go too wide through that chicane. Ain't gonna happen."
Wow. And it looks like we have a three-way battle for second place between Duran, Nordstrom, and Riley.
I'm actually gonna hop up there with Riley. All these drivers half a second off of each other. Good little train here. Nice to see the drivers so close between 2, 3, and 4. I want to take a second to talk about Warden, who was in second place. Because of his stop and go 30, he's fallen back to 15th place. He's found himself in really good company, though. He's got Victor Diaz in front of him and Samsoniga not too far ahead of that. They got a three-way going. Well, this grid is actually a little bit split. I'm going to hop on board with Warden, actually. It looks like they're the closest gap right now. Oh, and it looks like someone's pulled off in the grass there, waiting for the fast drivers to go by. It looks like they might have been a blue flag with some damage. Gives Grant Cleansing a little bit of a chance to catch up there as the drivers had to navigate that. Warden is looking to overtake Victor Diaz, though. Going side by side. The outside line doesn't look good for him, and he falls back a little bit. Definitely hard when you're in the marbles like that on the outside, and it's the wet line. Hard to make a pass around here. It's already a very hard passing track with how tight it is, and the rain does not make it any easier.
No, these guys are absolutely on the limit right now. Clearly just pushing for positions. During that little battle, it looks like Lehman, with his comfortable lead up front, has just set the fastest lap of the race.
Of course. Looks like Warden is looking to the inside of Victor here. Doesn't think he can make anything happen.
Letting him know he's there. Two battles on. This is some really tight, good racing here.
Actually, really good and tight racing all the way up and down the grid. It's, you know, like a kid in a candy shop. It's hard to pick which car I want to show you guys because there's a lot of good drivers all very close to each other. I think I'm going to stay on board with Warden here. Driver who we know has insane pace, trying to navigate himself through the field here.
In the picture-in-picture, you're watching Majid, currently 0.3 of a second back from Beko, fighting for 22nd position, with Sutherland not too far up the road, only a second in front of them. You can see that bright pink BMW just ahead.
Oh, it looks like Victor catches a little bit of grass there, allows Warden to catch up to him a little bit. Not much he can really do to capitalize on it. He's once again gets a better exit through here as they're coming up onto what I believe is the front straight. Yes, is that Mercedes going to be able to steamroll this McLaren? He's right on the bumper, catching that draft. He's looking to the inside. See if I can catch the bumper cam here. Ooh, as they're so close together. And it looks like he gets past him, but Victor passes him again. Parks himself right in front of Grant. Right on his bumper again. I almost feel like I need to be in the passenger cam here. This is what we want.
Warden coming in, just really pushing Diaz hard. Like, get out of my way, man.
Props to Victor, though, controlling that squirrely McLaren, showing him some good defense, saying, hey, Warden, this is how we do it here in SRA.
We don't let nobody by.
Just because you think you're some hot shot. Oh, no! And Victor Diaz goes off as I'm talking all that good stuff about him. Falls back. Big shame for him. He's in 18th place. It looks like he's able to rejoin safely. But that is a big unfortunate moment for him. Warden is now in 14th place. Really good spot for him. Especially with that stop and go. Not so bad. Let's look up the grid here at Durant's, right on the tail of Hannigan. PBJ is trying to drop banana peels out of the side of his Aston here, but it doesn't seem to be working. It's already slick enough out there.
I think the FIA might have turned mystery boxes off due to the weather.
These guys have been going at it all day. I've been watching them off and on, and it's just not a dull moment between these two. It's incredible. When you click away and you come back, yeah, you can always guarantee the action.
Durant is another new driver here to the league, also putting on an impressive show, showing a lot of these veterans, you know, like Evan Kim. He's in front of Evan Kim right now. So great performance from him. Definitely looking to see more from him as the season progresses. I'm very curious to see where he ends up in the championship standings as well. Looks like someone was off track behind there. Not sure who that was.
Lord and Douglas. That's who that was.
Oh no.
Doug's been fighting his way up the grid, doing pretty well. He was out in the back, and he's managed to find his way up to 10th place. So, good on you.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he started from the quali, but I believe he is up a couple positions, so he's looking pretty good. He's got Evan Kim right behind him, breathing on his back. I'm gonna switch away from this little battle right here as they're 0.2 seconds away from each other on the straight here, with another driver, F. Vicini. He's only 0.4 seconds back from that. Durant and Hannigan also fighting up in front there. Crazy. Durant looks to the inside but can't see anything. Oh, it looks like the BBC is trying to take it on the outside, but he can't muscle it through enough. But he's going to be on the inside for this next turn as they're side by side. Oh man, looks like Doug is going to have the upper hand. Oh, and he parks it right in front of him. No chance for the BBC to get by.
As Riley is into the wall.
Oh no, Riley in the wall. Ah, man.
Replay going up in the pip. Oh, he tried to do the whole braking in the grass technique and
That,
showed us why it doesn't work out too well.
yeah.
He actually did not touch the wall there, just slid right alongside it. A little misleading when I hopped on board, but it's a shame. Still holding on to 4th place. Just lost the little bit of room he had made up to Nordstrom, and I think that kind of solidifies his position as long as he can keep it clean from here out.
Might have came from the Super Truck series, but this is GT3, no grass.
Doesn't do too well on those kinds of surfaces.
Vicini, Mitchell, Kim, all very close to each other.
Durance and Hannigan fighting it out has allowed these guys to kind of push up on them, so the two-way battle has now just turned into a 5-way battle. This is going to be a very, very interesting last 10 minutes of this race. What do you guys think?
Definitely. Like you said, only 10 minutes left. These drivers are looking at the clock and saying, if I'm going to make a move, I got to make it fast.
Yeah, there's not too much time left to dilly-dally, but at the same time, there's a lot of time left to make a mistake.
Most certainly.
At this point, last time I had a wet race, I'm looking at the clock and I'm giving myself a little bit of a recollect, make sure I'm sticking to my line and finishing strong. It'd be a horrible place to make an error and lose progress made.
Retorquing the nut for your wheel.
Yeah, that usually goes on during the pit window, but I only really have time in the races where we take tires. Rest in peace.
Yikes.
Looks like this battle is spread out a little bit as they navigate a blue flag, it looks like, on the inside from blue Porsche there. Douglas Mitchell has pulled ahead from Evan Kim, but Vicini is definitely making his life very difficult. Only 0.1 seconds back. Now it looks like they're side by side here. Looks like Evan Kim is going to have the advantage here on the inside, so he's going to take it. But can he stick it through side by side? Oh, forces him to take the wet line. Ooh, very, very close. Looks like Vicini has to tuck in behind, but he is hungry. Hungry for that
all the while,
BBC.
Zuniga and Warden are now just half a second behind those two. There still could be a lot of moving and shaking here at the end of this race.
Looks like there's a car parked looking at the view. People.
We've lost a couple cars. Fredrickson gone off a little bit. A little bit of a misadventure. But Tufo and Osborne having they picked up a couple spots from that one there.
Is there any drivers anyone wants to take a look at with only 7 minutes left in this race? Anyone that we haven't given enough love to? How about Bako? Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Who's only 0.4 seconds off of Majid, another very fast driver for 23rd, or battling rather for 22nd place.
Definitely, and if I remember correctly, Majid was one of those poor guys that got collected up a little earlier on in the race. He's just been kind of running his own deal and trying to find his feet again.
It seems he's found a pretty good spot back to almost inside the top 20, or just outside the top 20, I should word it as. It's quite the position in this field. There's a lot of fast drivers here.
And take a look at Jay Arnold, who's a very fast driver, sitting in 24th right now. Looks like this wet race has not been the best for him. But still, 24th, can't be too mad at that.
An update on the Evan Kim battle. It is now turned into a 7-car affair.
Oh wow, my goodness.
Big train, big train.
I'm actually a hop on board Suniga here. He's chasing down Warden, it looks like. Actually, Warden has just overtaken Suniga, my bad.
This is a battle that's been raging on all day. There's just so much happening on track. This has really been a treat tonight, definitely.
Yeah, this midfield has been very close to each other this entire time. Honestly surprised we have not seen any more carnage with these cars so close to each other with all that spray. So hard to see. In fact, we're going to hop on board here with Suniga and look at the kind of visuals that he's dealing with. Not a whole lot of visibility. You kind of wish those wipers would work in overtime, but they do not.
And Hannigan's off.
Oh, Hannigan's off. We're checking on board with this. Let's look back 15 seconds, see what happened here.
Looked like he just kind of slid a little bit.
Oh, drifting. This, once again, wrong sport. This is not Drift Championship. This is GT3. And they don't like drifting.
These tires are screaming right now. They're like, nah, we're done.
I guarantee it. You know, especially you got a little bit of damage, a little bit of tire wear, and in the wet, it makes it very difficult. And still, all of these drivers are within a second of each other.
Incredible.
Just as we get inside the 5-minute mark here, I want to go over some of the big ups and big downs over the course of the race. Got Taylor Carter and I'm sorry, I don't remember your first name, but Sutherland made up 10 positions over the course of this race today.
Wow.
Unfortunately, some of the biggest losers, Tyler James and Patrick Rust, losing out 19 positions over the course of the race today. So the rain has been kind to few and also very mean to a couple people.
Is the chat right? Did the rain win today, guys?
And I think it might have won in Tyler's mind. I'm sure that's how he'll feel after tonight. So he's put a lot of practice in to try to bring that McLaren into a semi-stable position. I know he said he was struggling with it. He's put a lot of time in the BMW. So this is completely new, especially mid-engine, how light the car is. And have it all go wrong it's a tough one. But we all get one drop race, so.
Sorry, completely different platform. We can, for being as fast as he is and jumping into that McLaren, he's gonna be doing all right.
Seeing a little request in the chat, so I'm gonna keep it on the PIP as least. Watching Matt Lehman come up and lap Tyler James.
Ooh, brutal.
Ooh.
Little McLaren on McLaren violence here. Tyler does not seem phased.
Definitely not phased
As
at all.
goes Matt Lehman.
Lets him go nice and easy on the straightaway, just as he talks about in his driver briefings. Nice and clean. Doesn't want to mess up the race leader.
Speaking of, Matt's sitting on a 26-second lead at this point.
Incredible.
It's his race to lose. It's just an utter display of dominance tonight in the rain.
Yeah, Mr. Lehman putting on a clinic tonight. Definitely. Took all the points to heart. Was consistent throughout and textbook race.
And definitely not to take any credit away from Duran. Bringing up a big fight to bring himself all the way up into P2. Holding it out right now. I'm sure he can't be happier with that result.
The top 10 in this race could have been your winner tonight. These guys have been exchanging blows all night, and it's just incredible that they've kept it on track for this long and at this pace, this consistently. It's incredible.
And as with only 1 minute and 45 seconds left of this race, Matt Lehman in first. But I'm very excited for next race because now that we know that there's a couple people out here that can really challenge Lehman, you know, as long as they can keep it a little bit cleaner next race, we can see an interesting battle all through the race for the lead, as it looks like Cleansing goes off track a little bit there and tucks right back in behind PBJ, looking outside, inside. Looks like they might be coming upon Jay Allen right there. I wonder if the fan club, the Josh Allen fan club, is in the chat today. They're always a good folk to have over there, rooting for their home team. As I get the announcement that the leader is on the final lap, I'm going to hop up with Fimbres Casas, and he's only 0.4 seconds off of Bellinger, who's a driver that we haven't really talked about much today, but last race we talked a lot about. Bellinger is a very, very, very fast driver. Makes driving that Mercedes look easy. Very excited to see him in the league too, making a big splash. I think that that is definitely a championship contender, especially if he can keep very consistent races like he's done. Looking very good for him. Only 5 seconds left here. I'll catch Matt Lehman as he comes around. But the race is now over, and as people come around, that is going to be it. Vicini, here we go. Vicini, who's on the back of Kim, with Warden right behind him. A battle that we've been seeing this entire race. Very, very close. Warden, who's worked himself back up to 12th from that stop and go 30. As we're going to catch Lehman finishing up here very shortly to end the race.
Going back to 13th place with Hannigan, and Dahio, just going to say, overtook Suniga. Just having a little bit of an off-track incident there.
As Matt Lehman crosses the start-finish. All these drivers are, as he does a victory burnout. Congrats on a win number 2 for Matt Lehman. We'll watch Dom Duran come around, picking up a P2, a great battle for him, fighting throughout all the night. A couple drivers in front of him had a few mistakes, and it pumped him all the way up. Travis Nordstrom with an absolutely insane performance as well, 3rd place. Riley, a new driver, coming in for 4th. Couple off tracks, couple little incidents, but overall looking really good. Burker Quigg, very fast driver indeed in the Porsche as he comes around and hits that checker, and he's in for 5th. Bellinger and Fimbres Casas following right behind. Bellinger in 6th, Fimbres Casas in 7th. Douglas Mitchell looked really good all night. Didn't have the greatest of quali, but has worked himself up to P9. Great performance from him. Evan Kim right behind him for a P10. Vicini and Warden, who we've been seeing battling all the whole time here, coming in for 11th and 12th. Hannigan, Cleansing, and Busick, Bradley Busick, have all come around. Suniga, Dae-Hee-Yun in for 17th. Carter in for 18th. Victor Diaz crossing the line in 19th place, a decent finish for him. Sutherland for 20th. Majid, new driver, coming in for 21st. And that's the race, guys.
What a showing for something that a lot of people were just scared for to begin with, and I don't blame them. This track is very flat. It's not forgiving to begin with. It's tight and does not favor overtaking, and then we're going to throw the water at it as well. But these guys put on a hell of a show and showed us what you can do in a situation like this when you've got a little bit of confidence and a little bit of skill behind the wheel. Sometimes a little bit of luck too.
Well, that was a fantastic race from everybody. That rain absolutely brutal to many drivers, like you said, and kind to a few. Great race from everybody. Very excited for next race as well, seeing what these drivers can do to hopefully put one up against Matt Lehman. But maybe we can try to get some of these drivers in for a post-race interview. Mike, can you go ahead and try to pull Lehman, Duran, and Nordstrom, right, was third?
Yes.
Oh, do you want me to bring him in here?
Yes, sir. Or put them in the cool-down room
Cool down.
first. Yes.
Move to cool down room. So Lehman, Nordstrom,
And Dom Duran.
where is Duran? There's Duran. All right, I'm gonna jump down there. You coming in?
No, we're gonna pull them up. Okay.
Oh,
So, it looks like Duran just left us. So I'm gonna pull. Oh, and he's back.
he's back.
So I'm gonna pull up Matt Lehman. Matt, congratulations on win number 2 for season 3 here at SRA. A wet race. How'd you feel?
Yeah, thank you. Bit of a tough race, honestly, because Riley had really nice pace. Like, he got the jump on me on the start, so he was able to take the lead going into 1. And, first half of the race there, we kind of traded the lead a couple times. He made a mistake, then I made a mistake. He made a mistake again, and, from there I was able to hold it and hold on to the finish. But, yeah, it was definitely pretty wet out there.
Great race. I definitely saw that. I remember last week we talked about someone who can come up there and give you a little bit of a fight, and it looks like we saw that. Very excited for next race to see how that progresses, see if someone can give you a fight throughout the whole race. Looks like Riley and Warden unable to keep it together throughout the entire race, but still a stellar performance from them and a stellar performance from you. Able to bring it all the way. Nice.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And
Great job, Matt.
Great job, man.
Thanks.
And we also got Dominic Duran up here, P2. Dominic, how'd you find the race tonight?
I was in a chat with PBJ and Justin, and I think they said it best. It's kind of a war of attrition. You kind of just have to hang on. If you can put out consistent laps, I guess you put yourself in a pretty good spot. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this was my most consistent race in SRA. So that was nice to get a good result out of it.
Definitely, man. You showed a hell of a lot of consistency tonight. So everything kind of lined up with what you were planning for the race. You figured everything was going to be about this wet, or?
Yeah, I think it was probably the level of wetness was what I had practiced most in the practice server, and I guess I was comfortable with that. And then I had a couple lucky moments. I think particularly with Nordstrom, he got a bit unlucky. I think with back markers, and I was able to take the spot from him after the pits.
yeah, were you a little bit surprised as to how you came out, or was this all in the plans here? You had this all written out before.
I'm thoroughly surprised, but very pleased.
Yeah, we were watching you a good bit today, and we saw a lot of great battles from you, a lot of clean driving, and absolutely stellar performance today. P2, very very nice.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, no problem. So Travis Nordstrom looks like he disappeared on us. I'm gonna bring him back.
Where'd he go?
Travis, sorry to pull you in here, but you're on stream. How was the race?
That was good. I'm glad I got a podium finish. There's part of me that was like, oh man, I really wish I had gotten second. I just got unlucky with the blue flags and but yeah, really good race. I had a really good pit stop and didn't really make any major mistakes. So just glad I kept out of all the accidents.
Yeah, a couple drivers in front of you had some stop and go 30s or some little off tracks. and you were able to capitalize, put it up in P3. Were you in any way surprised by that? I know I didn't really see it coming last minute.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised because I think I went into the pits at in 6th or something, and I know I passed Dominic and my teammate in the pits because, like I said, I had a really good stop, and I came out 3rd, and then I think somebody else the guy in second. I don't know what happened to him, but then at one point I was in second and I didn't even know how I got there basically. So
yeah, that
kinda
was
crazy.
new driver Warden, who had to stop and go 30 for what I assume is speeding into pit lane.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But he was able to recover to, I believe, 12th place. So still not so bad from him. But hopefully he can not get a stop and go 30 next time. And you guys are going to have some great competition up at the front. I know we saw great battles all up and down the grid today. Crazy mid-pack. And you guys just kept it clean the entire time. Congratulations.
Yep, thank you.
All right.
Excellent job, guys. Great job tonight.
All right, move them down. Ooh, and boom. Okay. And they can all go to journal. Anyway, folks, if you're new here, we are in the second race of Season 3, so it's still definitely time to join. If you wouldn't mind going down into the description and clicking on our Discord link and joining. We're one of the friendliest leagues around, and we don't mind asking questions. If you're new to racing, new to ACC, new to leagues, new to anything, come in here, ask questions. A lot of friendly folks over here. We also have a Division 2 and Division 3 to help nurse some of our amateur or rookie drivers and hopefully get them up here with the pros, racing with the big boys. And we'd love to see more people out here. So if you're tuning in and you like what you saw, go ahead and hop in that description, join our Discord, and say what's up. We'd love to have you. And we have a practice race on Monday. The Division 1 is on today, Tuesday. Wednesday, Division 2 and 3 racing at the same time. Thursdays or Fridays, we generally have someone out there coaching, which is a great resource, especially for the new drivers, to help them learn the track and some of the tips and tricks to get the fastest time. And Saturday, we run exhibition races, and we also run random little exhibition races throughout the week and throughout the season. So even if you're not interested in coming for the whole season, I highly suggest tuning in and maybe joining us for one of our exhibition races and introducing yourself. It's a really fun time. Next week, for the Pro Division, we're going to have a dry race at Donington Park, thankfully. Last season, we had a wet race, and that was a nightmare. I know, at least for me. But
Me too.
Yeah, Donington Park, very exciting track. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for our Division 2 and Division 3 streams at Zandvoort here in the wet. Division 3, I believe, is going to be streamed on Twitch, which you can find if it's not in the description, it'll be in our Discord. All the more reason to join our Discord. And the Division 2 will be streamed here. So looking forward to seeing everyone out and watching for next week. Take a look at that because it's going to be pretty crazy. Amateur drivers in the wet at Zandvoort on a skinny, flowy track. I predict there's going to be quite an interesting race, so don't miss that one.
A lot of spins.
Yeah, hopefully not, but we're going to have to see. You're going to have to tune in to find out. But anyway, folks, thank you so much for joining us here today. Signing off, this is Paulie Hartman.
This is Josh.
This is Mike. Have a good night, people.
Take it easy.